Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday evening. My name is Robbie Lastella. As usual, here aboard with my friends Toby Shulman and Drew Shula. You're listening to the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. We're filling in for AJ Johnson tonight. We're live from 6 to 8, just a little bit delayed, but nevertheless, we're here and we're ready to roll. Toby and Drew, how are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good, Robbie. How are you doing?
Oh man, I can't complain. I had a fun weekend. I am now an FAU graduate, and I got to see an FAU AAC regular championship. Talking to Coach Clark here in the second hour, starting at 7 p.m. Drew, what's going on, man? How has New Jersey been treating you?
It's been all right. A little cloudy. It's definitely not the sun. It's definitely not the sun I'm used to in South Florida. A little bit cloudy, but nevertheless, very excited to be on tonight from my house in New Jersey, not from Delray Beach, Florida, but very excited. And congratulations to you, Robbie. I know me and Toby will be looking to graduate next year, so very excited for that. And congrats to you, my man.
Yeah, congrats, Robbie.
Thank you, boys. It's exciting, and there was no rest. Right, I dive right into that FAU softball coverage on Saturday. I covered from the couch. Had to go pick up Spice from Boynton Beach, who didn't make it back to the game in time. But Christian was there on Saturday. I was there on Sunday. And Christian was there on Friday night when the big comeback started for FAU softball. But it's been fun. I'm aboard the hype train for sure. I'm bummed. I've been working nights this year, most days honestly, when baseball or softball was playing. So. But now, you know what? I'm putting it all aside. We're rolling with softball right now. A lot of fun. I'm excited to talk to Coach Clark about this team. There's just an energy around it, right? It's like I don't know how to describe it really. It's just like they're there having fun, and it makes me want to have fun too. Like the game's over, they're ripping cartwheels in the middle of the field, doing this, and no one like, and it's just like at some point, athletics at a D1 level is serious, but there is nothing there like, oh yeah, this was business. We're locked in now to the next round. No, like they enjoyed the moment, which I think is so important, and a lot of times you don't see teams do. And it was just awesome to be a part of it. Everyone taking pictures with the AAC stuff, and so first AAC championship in school history, but more to come from this FAU softball team. AAC tournament this weekend and possibly they're in a position to be in an at-large if things don't work out this weekend. But knowing how things went with FAU basketball, a little similar with softball. I know we'll have to ask Coach Clark how she feels if they're banking on that at-large or nothing left, no stone left unturned. We shall see when she comes on the show here in the next 40 minutes. Toby was at baseball this weekend. Not every series can be as electrifying as the softball one. You lose sometimes, and unfortunately for FAU baseball, it was rough for the first 2/3 of the series, but they brought it home on Sunday. Luckily, Toby, how was baseball?
Baseball had a little bit of a struggle this weekend, but that's just what the sport is sometimes. They hit a little bit of a skid at home. They lost 4 straight. Two of these 3 games against UAB, they ended up losing by the run rule, which is tough, but they got the bats going again in the 3rd game. Trey Beard put together a really good start, a career outing for him. So, I mean, there's some great positives to take away from the last game, and just maybe just flush the first 2 of those series just down the drain and move on to the next, because they still have a series against UTSA and a series against Rice, and taking a sweep would be very brutal for them, but taking one doesn't at all ruin their chances of moving up in the standings still.
To see them win that last game was very important, but it was also really good for the school. Softball clinches, and then a few hours later, Carter Brady is walking them off for baseball. So it's just like good vibes to end the weekend. Hopefully, FAU baseball can pick that up and get rolling into. It's going to be tournament season coming up for them soon. Toby, when do you know when off the top of your head how many more series left or something like that?
Their last game is at home. It's May 19th against UTSA. After that, I believe the following weekend is the AAC tournament.
They'll be off to Clearwater there, and I would personally, can we swap Clearwater for Wichita, Kansas? Maybe. I wish, but you know what? There's a very good chance I am in Wichita, Kansas this weekend for this softball tournament. First time in Kansas, so I'm just gonna go for the food as always. There's nothing. I mean, obviously, I'm there for the tournament, but I always try to find little things there to pick up on. I don't know anything else about Wichita, Kansas. I guess the food will be good. Get some KC barbecue. But Drew, you were the one who mentioned this to me at baseball this weekend. Was there some kind of TikToker or something at the series?
There was indeed. Maybe some of the younger viewers would be able to know this duo, but it's Big AJ and Big Justice. I know a lot of my friends were excited to go. Maybe more well known as the Costco guys to a lot of people. But that's fun, man. Like, they're one of the hottest, TikTok pages in all of TikTok right now. They're blowing up like crazy. And FAU baseball, bringing them in, that's fun stuff. The Big AJ was able to throw out the first pitch. Big Justice was the bat boy all game. Just fun stuff for them, able to get them involved. FAU has definitely not been shy to bring in some very, very popular people to their games, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, when they had the Kodak concert, all that. So, just a fun way to get some extra people out there. They've been doing a great job with the promos. I think when they did Dollar Dog Night, that was a lot of fun. That got a lot of people I know there that would never go to an FAU baseball game. So a lot of fun. Unfortunately, we will not talk. Well, maybe Toby will, maybe Robbie will, but I won't. We will not talk about the score of that game. But yeah, a lot of fun that FAU is able to get that duo out there.
I think it's important that FAU continues to boost marketing like that. I mean, some people aren't going to like everybody you bring in. Somebody's not going to like Kodak. Somebody's not going to like these two kids or kid and his dad, whatever. But at the end of the day, it brings in a different audience that would not normally pay attention to FAU baseball or FAU football. Excuse me. Whatever it is, and so bringing in these different types of people is very important going forward. And I'm interested to see. We're in South Florida. There's a whole wide variety of media people and celebrities and whatnot that can come and make an appearance in some of these games. So I'm interested to see who is the next celebrity making an appearance at FAU Stadium, I guess, for football. Or what? Toby, what's the baseball stadium called?
It's FAU Baseball Stadium. That might be like all of them besides the Ellie, that they're just like FAU football, FAU baseball. I'm not sure what softball is. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing.
We got Joan Joyce Field, the legendary coach.
Yeah, my bad.
The field's named after her. It's still it's Joan Joyce Field at FAU Stadium. So. But yeah, I was just wondering, as we got a name, it's sooner than later. It'll be Nolan Shanwell Stadium,
probably.
Just like football, Howard Schnellenberger Field at FAU Stadium. So,
who are we naming the football stadium after, though? We got
Motor Singletary Stadium.
Motor, yeah. Welcome to the Motor, everybody. I love it.
That'd be fun.
It would be, right? Like, give it a cool, give it something cool for the fan, like the student. Like, yeah, we're going to the Motor. Like no one wants to say, yeah, we're going to Howard Schnellenberger Field. I love Howard, legend, but it's a mouth like jumble there. It's tough to say. I don't think a lot of people even know how to say Schnellenberger. So, just a different little marketing aspect to think of, Or are they going to call it, if the private prison company was investing in FAU, they're going to call it Alcatraz way back when, if the private prison company found
what's a private prison company?
Privatized prisons, for-profit prisons. We could get into a whole debate about that.
Okay, no, never mind.
Maybe if we go to the end zones, we have to get Greg Joseph end zone. The South.
The Harrison Bryant 50-yard marker. I don't even know, over the middle. It's something we can do to try to tie in the tight end legacy there. The Trey Hendrickson sack turnover chain. I don't even know. We got anyway though. If they want, I'm sure FAU if they want to donate some money, they'll name the turnover chain after you. Whatever you want.
Trey Hendrickson's getting a nice little contract. I don't know if he got a new one. I haven't really checked, but he cashed in Cincinnati. Maybe just a little 1/15 of that can come to FAU football. Maybe Trey, if you're listening in.
I think that would be a great idea. Bring some money into Paradise, but you know what? It's going well in my opinion. FAU basketball right now really is. I don't know if it's the NIL. I don't know if I don't know if it's the marketing. I don't know it's probably just Coach Jacobs and his amazing charisma, just getting these guys over to Paradise. The Owls, they have been busy this weekend. Drew and Toby both been on this FAU basketball wave with me, but today they landed Max Langenfeld, 6'6" German guard. He's a hooper. He comes in with like 2 years of pro German league experience, Division 3, 2, and 1. So he's worked his way up from like all the different levels that they have over there in Germany. And this most recent season in Division 2, put up like 22 points per game, and was up and down between the BBL team that the Pro 2 team he was on. They have a team in Division. It's kind of like the G League a little bit. They have a team at the Division 1 level. And so he was playing with their squad as well, played in like, I think 9 games this season, played in like 6 last year. So he's obviously at a point where he can play with, 25, 30-year-olds that are in German Division 1 basketball, because, you look at the leaders of the BBL, and there's guys like that have graduated college and now are playing overseas. So he's a guy, no college experience, 20 years old, and he's coming over to FAU now with experience that 4-year college vets get after they finish the college. So it's huge to get in a guy like that. We had Rocco on last week talking about the dangers of recruiting internationally, and that sometimes you get a player who's maybe not fully developed, or there's parts of his game that I have to work out, and obviously that's the case here too with Max, and then we'll get into Amar in a second. But there's a difference of being underdeveloped and being young with things to work on, and I don't think either of these guys are underdeveloped. I think they're both really exceeding the point of a normal. In Amar's case, he's 18, and Max Langenborg, he's 20. They're both developmentally ahead, in my opinion. So with the other commit FAU got this weekend, Amar Amkou Diop, he's a 6'7" guard, right? We've got Max Langenborg, who's a 6'6" guard, and Amar, who's a 6'7" guard. And we're bringing them both in. Amar's from Senegal, Africa, played in the BAL Basketball Africa League there with the NBA Academy team. So this is a guy, obviously, that's like, he's very young. He's 18. But the NBA is looking at him, looking at his skills, his raw skills, and his size, and everything that he brings to the table. And they're like, yep, we want him on our NBA Academy team. There's only 13 spots. It's not, it's people may be like, oh yeah, anybody's making that team. No. And we'll talk more about this later in the week with an African basketball recruiting expert. But it's not like he's playing for a pickup team. He's playing for a really select team in Africa over there, and he played alongside Kamen Malag, who's the number 1 big man in this class, projected number 5 pick in next year's class. He's going to Duke. So he played alongside him in the BAL, and now he's coming here with experience, yes, in the African Pro Leagues, but also he's only 18. So yes, he's got experience, and he's more closer to the underdeveloped side. Still not underdeveloped than Max is, but he comes in with experience, and he's young. So Coach Jacobs and the staff can really mold him into whatever they want. Like he's got the ability to drive, he's got the ability to catch and shoot, he's got the ability to shoot off the dribble. His defensive game is strong. His size, he's a guard, so his size, it's like he can defend these smaller guards and lock them up. I mean, you're 6'7", guarding guys who are anywhere from 6 foot to 6'5". So for most cases, for most guards at least. I mean, we looked at John L. and Elijah last year, and this is where I want to get your guys' opinion. Last year, last 2 years, really, FAU, and before that, I can't, off the top of my head, I don't remember the last time FAU really had a guy with this type of length. 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", we're getting in Caleb Glenn. So how important is it for FAU to have this length? And do you think having these 6'6", 6'7" guards is going to make a really big impact on this team?
I think it would have made a really big impact this year, for sure. I mean, that's one thing I feel like me, you, and Drew talked about a lot with the team last year, is that, besides Vlad and G, we really didn't have much length and much size. So you had 2 guards who are taller than, probably 85% of the team that we've had the last few years. I mean, sign me up for that. I mean, they could be, like you said, a little bit underdeveloped. I agree with you that I don't think that's the case with these two. But I mean, the skill level that they have coming into FAU plus their length, I think, is going to do wonders for this school. I think just seeing their height should get fans excited enough to fill up the seats the way they did last year.
Yeah, if I just never expected our team to be kind of built this way. When we didn't have a coach, we were kind of talking, like no disrespect to anyone, but we didn't expect like these kind of like these high upside caliber players to be brought in here because it's never happened before. The model, that West Coast model, that Gonzaga, St. Mary's, they've all done. Baylor kind of adopted as soon as Scott Drew was head coach. We never really expected that. We've never really seen it, especially with basketball here. It's always really been just different, and it's super exciting. I think what the fans know is that the potential of this team is dominant championship conference level team where they have the ability to be dominant in the conference. How soon that's going to be, or how many of these how many of these pieces of the puzzle are going to fit in, remains to be seen. Because it's not as easy as, oh wow, we got this guy that no one else was going after. He's scoring all these points overseas. He's going to be able to play right away. No, like there will be a little bit of a development needed. I think Amar Enku Diop's a little bit younger. I think, but his potential is NBA caliber, which really has not been done since the past. Besides the past 2 years in FAU basketball history. When it comes to Langenfeld, I'm excited for this guy. I think we haven't really had a guy that is like a sharpshooter, can shoot out of the gym. Nelly's been efficient, but he's kind of more a shot creator. I think Elijah's game, a little more of a shot creator. We really haven't had that guy that we could trust. Hey, we want you on the 3-point line. We want you to be able to shoot out of the gym. When we need a big three, you're the guy we're going to. I think that's something FAU fans should be really excited about. And, that 23 points per game isn't, it's not at some, JUCO. He played in the toughest league in Germany. Just like, Enku Diop playing in the NBA Academy, that's not just some random development league, like this AAU ball. No, like that's a serious academy. So that's what's exciting, is that these points per game aren't going, they're not playing nobodies. These guys are going to come in and have all the ability in the world to be all conference players.
And so you take a look at the guys who Coach Jacobs has brought in. Stanton McCray, contributor on an NCAA tournament last year. Leland Walker, first team All ASUN. I think he averaged I think it was 15 to 17 points per game. Caleb Glenn, he was a top 100 recruit last year. And then these two, Amar, he would have probably been a top 100 recruit if he was stateside. And then Max, he's basically it's day one starter in my opinion, because the experience that he gets from playing pro over in Germany is invaluable. If his game translates well enough to the state side, he can be a day one starter. And so there's like no reserves in my opinion yet. I mean, we've got guys like Devin, Jaquel, Trey, who have all came back, and they're all hoopers in their own right. Devin and Jaquel were waiting to go last year, and they could probably have contributed. So it's going to be interesting to see how there's just tons of talent right now. It's not like we're bringing in guys averaging 2.3 points per game, whatever, and then we're just chalking it up, saying, "Oh yeah, they'll be reserves. We'll bring it." No, everybody that they've brought in so far has been a hooper. Like they've all been guys that can come in and make an impact. And I'm sure maybe it just looks that way on paper, but it's hard not to the paper's jumping out at me right now. Like, yo, these guys are good, and I just think it's a really bright start to Coach Jacobs' recruiting tenure. 4 scholarships remain. Obviously, I feel like 2 of them have to go to big men, plural. Baba Miller is a guy I personally want. Coach Jacobs has mentioned that we're bringing in someone from Spain. Maybe it's him, maybe it's not. I don't know. But if it is, that's a huge big man. He's very versatile, can can battle in the post with the best of them. Got a little midi as well, so I think he would be a great fit here. I'm just interested to see who else comes on board. Caleb Lawner was a reserve big man guy. He's actually going to play football for the University of Utah now. So he is hanging up the basketball shoes and putting on the cleats. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out for him. But that was a guy who I was thinking FAU may target. Baylor transfer, Jacob's connection there. But nevertheless, back to the portal they go. And international big men are very. I mean, Jokic, Wemby, those are just two that jump off the top of my head. There's obviously some studs that come from the big man department overseas, different parts of different countries, obviously. But maybe Coach Jacobs goes out and finds a diamond in the rough, a 7'4" center from Switzerland. I don't know, but wherever, it just makes me curious. Like, what's out there? Like, I've never really seen a coach attack the international side like this. I haven't followed St. Mary's Gonzaga that incredibly, so it's cool to see what he's doing, and going forward, it'll be interesting to see who else comes out of the international side, and will there be any of these guys that are like, okay, ton of talent, but not ready for the NBA? We're redshirting him, and with 4 scholarships left, I imagine maybe one, or maybe even 2 of those last non-big man spots go to them. But still, we want to see FAU maybe bring in like a sharpshooter type guy. There's no everyone that they brought in is capable of shooting the 3-point ball, but there's no one that jumping out of the page is like, oh man, this guy's Ray Allen coming up, or whatever you want to say. So,
Yeah.
Between a big man, a 3-point shooter, is there anything else you guys think this team needs to add? Maybe another point guard, something?
Really, just big men. But I'll let Drew speak on it a little bit more. He obviously knows a lot more of the whole recruiting department than I do.
No way.
That's just the glaring holes right now. It's just we need big men. Besides Trey, we need them.
One thing that just stands out to me when I'm looking at this roster on my monitor, it's so who's the outlier here? We have AJ Staten McCray 6'5", Caleb Glenn 6'6", Leland Walker 6 foot, Amar Anku Diop 6'7", Max Langenfeld 6'6". The one outlier, Leland Walker. He's gonna be playing point guard. We need a backup point guard, is my opinion. We have Devin and Jaquel are guards that didn't they redshirted last year, so they didn't get playing time. But I think bringing in, even maybe this is just me, I think a veteran guy in the transfer portal, or it doesn't even have to be a veteran. It could be Amira Little is someone that's been rumored to come to FAU heavily because of how John Jacobs recruited him. We need another guard because imagine God forbid he goes down, God forbid he gets sick, God forbid maybe he's not playing well. You need a second guy. He's not going to play 40. He's not going to play 40 minutes. You would think not, but you need a backup guard, and then obviously you guys both said it. We need a big. Right now it's really just Trey Carroll's the only big. We need that, and then I want a sharpshooter. I want this 6'4" shooting guard that can shoot, just unlimited range. They're able to just really just unload that deep ball. So those are the three areas I want. I want a guy that can compete for the starting job at point guard or just be a backup. I want this guy that just has just crazy 3-point shooting ability, and then 2 bigs is what I would do to round out the team.
I don't disagree. I think that's right along what FAU needs, and we'll see how these last 4 roster spots shape out. It should develop pretty quickly. I expect probably the next 2 weeks or so, this roster will be finalized, and they'll be getting ready to get to work here over the summer. But we're talking here on the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. Toby Shulman, Drew Shula. Guys, Toby, baseball was crazy storylines going on in the MLB over the past couple of days. We weren't on the air when Luis Ariz got shipped. I don't even want to, shipped on over to San Diego, sent for peanuts. No, I mean, these guys they got are decent. They shoot up the Marlins prospect systems, especially Lewis Head. Or no, what was his name? Dylan. Dylan Head. Yeah, not Lewis. So Dylan, I like him. He's the outfielder, right?
Yeah, he's a stud. He's their 5th prospect in their overall top 30, so that's a great get for them. The other 3, I knew you're probably going to get into them, Rob, but the other 2 at least that stand out to me, are 10th and 11th in their system already.
I
They're
forgot
not.
the names. Who else was it? It was something.
Is Woo Suk Go, who's like a Korean. If I got that wrong, I'm really sorry about that. But I think he's a Korean reliever, so they need bullpen help. So that's huge for them. And they got Nathan Martorola from also from the Padres, and Jacob Marcy as well, who got sent to the Blue Wahoos in Pensacola. They'll be playing at the Double-A level, and like I said, they're 10th and 11th respectively in the top 30 for the Marlins farm system. So they're building it up again. It's kind of gone down the drain a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but they're building it up again, and I kind of wish they would have gotten a little more for it. Honestly, it seems like they could have maybe thrown in one more guy who could be a top 10 prospect in their system.
Is it too early? I mean, I'm hearing this guy Peter Bendix talking about, oh yeah, with the record where it's at right now, we had to consider all options. I mean, buddy, the season just started. I mean, it seems ridiculous to me. I mean, I understand. The larger scale problem is not Peter here; it's his boss, Bruce Sherman. But I don't know. Is his boss? I don't know if his boss is telling him he needs to tank right now, or if he's just okay with sucking throughout the entire season, not even trying to pick it back up. I'm
I
sure
mean,
the A, when they lost the first couple games of the year or however they started, wasn't the best. Look where they're at now. Look, anything can happen, and just to see the Marlins flat out say, you know what? Let's trade everybody. Who's going to be next? Jazz Chisholm's next. We saw that today in an article. So at this point, Toby, you and our boy George, there may be some open roster spots here, and I know you guys haven't suited up in a while, but I think George has got one in him, and I think you do too. I think the fish may need some help.
I'll play for league minimum, man. Let's sign me up. And I just don't I do understand why they're shipping everybody off. It's just terrible to do it to the fans because you go to Lone Depot already. There's like nobody there. You go when
Literally,
they're playing a big team. George is ready for the call. So me and George got to get up there. But you go there and there's no fans. When they play a good team, there's more fans of the good team, like the Mets or the Yankees, than there is Marlins fans. They're trying to do everything they can to get people in the seats. So hopefully Dylan Head becomes a franchise cornerstone for them, because if not, I think the fans are really going to lose faith in this team for a long time.
Toby, you know why I called him Lewis? You remember the last center fielder they got? Lewis Brinson, where is he at now? Is he hitting $190 somewhere in Double-A? Where is he at?
I couldn't even tell you. I'd have to look up in Baseball Reference where he's at right now. But
George, where in the world is Lewis Brinson, and why is this new dude not going to turn into him? I'm sorry. I have no faith in the developmental team of the Marlins to not turn him into a Lewis Brinson. Can they get Justin Ruggiano levels of production out of this guy? If not, I don't want him.
See, Robbie, you say you have no.
Oh,
no, Drew.
are we having a did Christian
No.
did Christian get Drew?
Oh no. I was
No.
really excited too.
Christian has gotten a hold of Drew here.
Oh no.
I was right. And so now we lost Drew. But hey, we're still here on the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. Toby Shulman, Robbie Lastella, heading close to the 7 o'clock hour. Coach Jordan Clark joining us at 7. But sticking with baseball a little bit, obviously the dismay of the Marlins. There's nothing good to talk about with them. Looking at the top of the league, though, we had two of the better squads in action this weekend, Braves and Dodgers. And it seems like the best team in the majors made themselves quite clear at the end of that series. Toby, do you any thoughts on Dodgers-Braves going on this weekend? Dodgers getting the sweep.
Drew kind of said that the Braves might be a little fraudulent, and I'd be a little hesitant to go that far right now. That lineup's just too good to really say that, but the Dodgers look like the Dodgers, like we expected them to be. And I touched on this in my show earlier today, but they had a little bit of a struggle at the start, as I guess, you could probably call it a struggle for the Dodgers lineup. They were like a few games over 500. Now they're starting to show that they're the Dodgers that spent $1 billion this offseason. They got Ohtani hitting out of his mind. Ohtani's improved, it looks like, which is pretty hard to believe at this point. But the Dodgers look incredible. If it's not them who's the best team right now, it's the Phillies for sure. But the Dodgers just dismantled the Braves, really. It seemed like not even like in the score, just it seems like they got to them in every regard.
Shohei got going recently. It seems like once that betting scandal got off of his shoulders, it was like, you know what, I can do this thing again. I'm Shohei Ohtani. I can do it. So with him hitting alongside Mookie Betts, that they're exactly what teams thought they would be when the season started. So I don't know many teams that are going to be able to beat them, especially when the postseason comes around in a 7-game series. They just have so much depth. Even you look at the pitching, Kershaw is not been the healthiest, but if he gets going, then he's got more postseason potential than I don't know anybody. So if he gets going by the time they get to the playoffs, add that arm in there consistently, it'll be a mess for them. It'll be a mess for other teams in the National League. I mean,
yeah, it's really just the injuries with the pitching. If they get that sorted out, I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be real difficult to beat that team. But everyone's been saying that.
What's been going on though with the A's, Toby?
Dude, they're fun. They are really. I think they're one game below 500 at this point. Which, if you would have told the A's fans that before the season started, they probably would have been pretty mad at you because they wanted this team to probably be as bad as possible, just to rub it in the face of the owners. Or they're probably. I'm sure they're all happy now. I mean, one last ride in Oakland. To be this good, which one game under 500 in the grand scheme of things is not good. But they're not bad at all. Brent Rooker looks like one of the better left fielders. I mean, in the game right now, they have Mason Miller doing Mason Miller things still. There's like a strange amount of consistency with this A's team right now, and that's like something I haven't experienced since like their postseason days. Like what, maybe 7?
Yoenis Cespedes and John Lester hitting the ball
Back in the day, the Matt Olson Athletics. I mean, they look pretty good. Like like. They're just fun to watch. And I mean, I try to highlight it every time on my show, but if you can turn on the games, they play the Rangers this week. That's my must-watch series of the week. So tune into that because there's going to be some standings adjustments for sure in the AL West.
If the A's somehow can figure out a way to win this division, I would be shocked, yes, but I think I would be more shocked is the dismay of the Astros so far. I'm pulling up our standings here, but the Astros 12-22. They're just as bad as the Angels so far. That division seems like it's going to be between Seattle, Texas, and Oakland. Seattle's had that success recently, so I'm rooting for the Mariners a little bit.
Yeah, I am too. They're a hard team not to root against. They have a great fan base. They've been close, like really, really close. Seems like the last few years, and I feel like they've kind of constructed themselves differently each year. They're just trying to find what works, and I feel like they really found what works for them. Now their rotation's starting to get back on track too, so this is a really easy team to root for. It's a team that I like to root for too, so it's something new. I think that's why everybody's like, it's so easy to root for the Mariners because like the Astros have won every single year pretty much. So it's very easy to root for one of these teams that hasn't won this division in a while.
I love Bruce Bochy too. It's tough. I mean, I was a fan of him when he was the manager of the Giants, and it's obviously working again with the Rangers. But
yeah,
I agree. It's time for something new. Welcome back, Drew. We hope
there he is.
Hi, Jack.
I pulled a Christian Proccia. I don't know what happened, but do you guys mind if I can talk about what I was going to talk about with the Marlins?
Yeah, we'll circle back.
Because I was just really excited to say this because last year was my favorite MLB draft of all time. We had Nolan in there. We had one of my family friends, Kyle Teal, got drafted to the Red Sox. I was just saying, like, listen, I don't disagree. I don't really trust the Marlins to get guys to the majors, sustain good baseball play, and get them paid. But I really like Noble Meyer, the pitcher. I love him. He is throwing some gas in high school. Well, he was throwing absolute gas in high school. And now he's going to have an MLB, like, true nutrition. He's going to have the MLB coaching. He's going to have all of that, and what was he, 17 years old, 18 years old coming out to the draft?
He's a kid.
Yeah, unlimited potential for that guy. That's all I wanted to say. But unfortunately, my Wi-Fi pulled a Christian Proccia for the first time. Unexpected. Hopefully it doesn't happen again tonight.
I agree, Drew. I really, really, really like Noble Meyer. And, to your point, Robbie, I agree that I don't trust the Marlins' development with players that are in the field. I don't trust them at all. Look what happened to Khalil Watson. They couldn't even get that guy's head right. He was making pretend gun shots at umpires. So I think that speaks a lot to the just development of hitters on that team. But pitchers, I mean, Sandy Alcantara, Yuri Perez, Max Meyer. So this team can develop arms, and I think you give them Noble Meyer, like Drew said, high school arm, throws gas. He's going to do some great things, and he's got all the time in the world to do it. So I think he's going to be like a Max Meyer type of player who comes up in the system. They'll probably have him on an innings limit, but yeah, I mean that's definitely a bright spot, and not many bright spots at this Marlins farm.
And if you're the Marlins, there's one thing. You're only 7 games back from that 4th place slot right now against the Mets. If you're the Fish, there's just something there. You keep on keeping on. You climb up the ladder a little bit. 7 games. All you got to do, you reach those Mets in 4th place and send the Mets to the cellar. At this point for the Fish, if we're not looking forward to Noble Meyer and other future prospects, they can look to climb up to 4th place because it seems like that's about all that they're going for. And I'm just not okay with that. I'm not okay with giving up on the season in early May. It's May 6th, boys. Season can't be over yet. That's just crazy.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Let's be honest.
They've really tried their best to make it the case, though. I mean, it's pretty much over now. Like they don't have much else. Like they don't have healthy pitchers. They don't got good batters. Like I don't know what else there is for them. It might be done.
That's wrong for the fans.
Yeah, that's what I said after you. I think after you got booted off from your internet, but it's just terrible for the fans.
Like at least like either admit you're going full, we're going to stink this year, get the number 1 overall pick. Let's grab Paul Skeens type of prospect or Dylan Cruz type of prospect. But no, they just started off with a pretty bad team and just made it worse like really early. I feel I'd be disgusted if I was a fan. Like, come on. Like, that's just messed up. I don't know, my opinion.
I agree. But hey, you know what? I guess that's business. We'll see what happens. We'll see if business pays off in 10 years. But speaking of 10, Yankees 10 games over 500. Toby, they took them until June actually last year to get up to 10 games over 500. So a little bit earlier, fast start this year. Now they got a 3-game series coming up against the Astros. They could absolutely bury the Stros, Toby. 3 losses would send the Astros into the depths of dismay. Currently tied at the cellar with the Angels, both 12 and 22. Big series coming up for the Yankees, and it's been a little up and down since John Sterling retired. The curse of John Sterling haunting over. Actually, since the Yankees decided to give John Sterling a $200 Walmart TV, that's when the curse really started. Not when he retired. But you know what? They've picked it up. They've won 6 of their last 4. Baltimore in first place. They've won 7 of their last 3 up 1 game on the Yankees. Any chance the Rays get hot, Toby? I mean, they've always been a team here, and it just seems like they're kind of asleep at the wheel right now.
They definitely could take over the Red Sox 3rd place spot. I mean, they are the Rays. They got bats that can hit home runs. I mean, Randy comes up in the clutch all the time. Paredes hits bombs. They just they're a weird team. They're really inconsistent this year, and that's something you really don't see with the Rays too often is them being inconsistent. So for that reason, I would say maybe they can't get red hot and take a 2nd or 1st place spot. They could probably take the 3rd place. I'm sure that's what's going to happen is these teams are going to bounce from 3, 4, and 5 all the time.
Man, Boston's doing better. I thought Boston would for sure be in the cellar, but they're doing better than expected. In Toronto, I think is Vlad Guerrero above 220 yet? Is he above the Mendoza line?
I don't even know, man. And Alek Manoah gave up a ton of runs in his first start back, so
the Blue Jays are just not able to put it. They need prime Jose Bautista right about now with some Eddie Encarnacion on first base.
Some MVP Donaldson, man.
Dalton Varsho hasn't been awful. I'll say that.
Well, they traded a lot away for him, so I'm glad that he at least is starting to break out a little bit for the team. But
he better be good if they're going to give up what they give up. That's
Dalton Varsho.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they jumped the gun on that trade. They thought they were better than what they were. Like a versatile, pretty good player that's young, but for what they give up, come on, that's ridiculous.
I agree.
What's
you said it better.
What's ridiculous, in my opinion, is that the White Sox are still a major league organization at this point. 20 on the
Send
year.
them to Nashville, bro.
It's been a rough season for the Shy Sox for sure. We'll see if they can pick it up out of the AL Central. Hey, we're winding down here at 6:56. We're going to take a quick break here on the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. When we come back, the amazing Jordan Clark joins us here on 102.9 The Game.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding.
Whoa!
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. What you've all been waiting for. Robbie, Lastella, Drew Shula, Toby Shulman here. And now we are joined by leader of the Fight Club, FAU softball coach, and most importantly, AAC regular season champion, Jordan Clark. Coach, how are you doing today? And overall, in the past 24 hours, just how you feeling?
Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for having me, first of all. And it's been a whirlwind. I feel like, I woke up and it's another day. We're back in the office and getting ready. We leave tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. to head to conference tournament. So it's a quick turnaround, but it's been so cool just to see all the love and to see how much people have recognized our girls and our program and just how excited they are for this big accomplishment.
A big accomplishment indeed. First AAC regular championship in FAU history for in any sport. So it's awesome to see. And for you yourself, first time as a softball head coach was at the D1 level was last year, and now at the end of season 2, 76 wins and an AAC regular season championship. When you came here, was the expectation that you'll have instant success like this? And if not, maybe what were you thinking when you first signed that dotted line?
Yeah, I always say this is my 9th year in college coaching, and I was an assistant for 7 years, and then thankfully I've been a head coach now for 2 years. And so, I've had really good mentors along the way, and people always tell you don't just take a job just to take it because of a title or how much money you make. And over the years, there's been opportunities, there's been people that have reached out, and I was always, I was happy. I was happy at Ohio State. I was happy at Arkansas. And so I had to be convicted in my decision to become a head coach to make sure that I could have success. And you have to be somewhere where, one, you can recruit, right? Does it sell itself? And I think we all know that Paradise does, especially for college softball. And so am I surprised that we're having success this early? No, I'm not. And I know that sounds crazy. And to some people, they're like, well, you inherited a roster that was just 500, they just went 500, barely made the tournament, haven't had success over the years since 2018. And so I knew that I hired the best staff. Taylor Smart was an interim head coach at Troy. She, has been to regionals and to postseason. Nicole Newman played professionally, won several championships on her own. So I knew that if we got the right kids in here that we would have success. And then with our transfers that we picked up this summer, they had been at previous schools. They've been to supers, they've been to regionals, they've won conference championships. So am I excited? Yes. Am I surprised? No. Just because it's a testament to our team and I saw how good we were at practice. So I know that's a long-winded answer, but I'm not surprised. I'm proud, but not surprised.
I'm here for it, Coach. A ton of great stuff there. And you mentioned Ohio State, and that's something me and Toby covers baseball for us, we're talking about before. Toby, you want to jump in here? I know that was something you were interested in.
Yeah, so you touched on your positions at past schools, Coach, being at Ohio State and Arkansas. Obviously, Arkansas, a very high-level school when you're talking softball and baseball, but what was like your biggest takeaway that you've gotten from maybe the head coaches there that you've taken and tried to apply being a head coach at FAU?
Yeah, first of all, Courtney Deifel has done an amazing job at Arkansas. When we took over at Arkansas, it was her first year. She hired me, and we were the worst team in the SEC. We were 1-23, and so with her, the thing that I learned with her was like you have to believe in yourself, and if you believe in yourself, it doesn't matter what everyone else thinks. And for me, I believed in myself that we could come in here, hire a good staff, get good players, and coach them up. And so the thing I took from her was that, and we built a culture. And she talked about laying a foundation, and everybody wants quick success, right? I think even with NIL and with everything, everybody wants immediate, hey, I'm going to pay this player to get here. I'm going to come do this. I'm going to do that. And for us, we wanted to build a foundation so that this thing lasts for more than just 1 year. It lasts for more than 2 years. And so from her, we took that. And then at Ohio State, to me, it was a situation where you can have all the resources you can in the world and you can play on the biggest national stage with the biggest national brand, but ultimately you got to get the right kids in there and you got to develop. And so, at Ohio State, we had to get creative because we weren't getting some of the top recruits because we were competing against the ACC. We were competing against other Big Ten schools and SEC schools. So it showed you, okay, how do I get that second tier kid maybe? And how do we now still compete with the best of the best? Because the expectation at Ohio State is excellence in every sport. So building a foundation from Arkansas and developing kids at Ohio State would be the two biggest ones.
Would you say it's, I looked at the schedule and I saw Arkansas on it. I saw some 10 schools. How cool is that for you as a coach, previously at these schools to be able to welcome them into now your home?
Yeah, it was bittersweet. And so I remember Courtney contacting me and just saying, hey, listen, can you get us into your tournament? And we were already going to play at their place. And selfishly, I always said when I became a head coach and I could make my own schedule, I wanted to make sure I got in front of friends and family and got back to the state of Arkansas where I'm from. And so it just worked out perfect. It really did. And, to have that handshake at home plate, I think there's a picture of it. And it's just like, it honestly is priceless. And in this business, and you guys know, it's all about connections. It's all about networking. And your circle, the older you get, gets smaller and smaller, but it's about the quality of people in your life. And so being able to play Arkansas this year and then come down to Boca and play at our place, it's a memory that I'll forever have. And I'm so grateful for Courtney. And, you have your people, and she's my person, and she's my one that I call with good news, bad news. And so just bittersweet for sure.
Yeah, thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
You mentioned something there that and it goes along with Melissa's question that came up on the screen there. You mentioned it. I mentioned it a bit difficult to get players at Arkansas because you were competing against all these other schools. Mm-hmm. It seems like NIL has bursted on the scene in your first 2 years at FAU. How has that impacted? I was very, really curious. Thank you for Melissa for asking. How has it impacted softball?
So when you look at your Oklahoma, who's national champion, one of the best teams in the country year in, year out, they're having to put up money for kids, right? Like they are. And I do think that softball is a sport that to get into softball, your family has to be, I'm not going to say well off, but, not just anyone can start softball because a softball bat is $400. A glove is $200. And so our kids come in, and yes, you have some that are wealthier than others, some that come from better home life, better backgrounds. But for the most part, they're not demanding it. Whereas I think in basketball and football, it's, hey, if you want me, I need $1 million and this is what I need and this is what I want if you want to keep me. Softball, that's just not the culture yet. And I love that it's not the culture. I do think it's going to get there. I think it's going to get there. Luckily for us this year, it hasn't made a huge impact. I have people come to me all the time and they just say, hey, how can we help you? How can we keep some of these players? And, for us, I want my kids to have NIL money, but I also want the program to get where it needs to go. And I think our girls see that when it comes to facilities, when it comes to resources, like if you're comparing Arkansas's facility to FAU's facility, it is night and day difference, right? And I love that we get to play in front of palm trees and we have new padded walls and all the things, but ultimately girls play good when they feel good. And when you feel good, you have nice things around you. And so luckily my group's not super selfish. And I hope I don't offend people when I say that, but they want what's best for the program instead of, hey, how can I make money right now? And luckily with the Boca Youth Little League and with some other opportunities in town, they can come out and do camps and they can do clinics and all those things and make money by also growing the game. And that's something that we've preached to the girls is if you're going to go in the NIL space, how can you serve others and serve yourself? And don't just do it from like, hey, I made an appearance and I signed this autograph and I picked up a quick $1,000.
Excuse me. It's important like that there's value behind the NIL that everyone receives. So it's awesome to hear that. And you talked a little bit about everything that impacts the program and it makes me think. So you talked about in your opening press conference following up somebody like Joan Joyce and someone like her resume and just all that comes with the legend that she is. What maybe is something that people don't realize is hard about following up a legend, and how have you been able to be so successful in doing that?
Yeah, first of all, when you look at women's golf and you look at women's softball, Joan Joyce is the pioneer behind that. And so it's funny. So when I took this job, a lot of the people in my life told me not to take the job. And, at the beginning when I got the job, SIDs and all of our not HR, but communications, you were like, you probably shouldn't talk about it, right? But I like to talk about it because I think it paints the story to where we are 2 years later. And I think it's real. And as a young head coach in your early 30s, you're so excited to get the first job, and it was not warm welcomes from people. And in fact, I got bashed all over the internet and I got hate mail sent into inboxes. I got letters in the mail, and it's because Joan did impact so many lives. And so many people wanted to see, who she wanted to replace it. And unfortunately, she was no longer with us to make that decision. And so administration had to make a tough decision. And I say that because everything we've done so far has been to honor her. And one of the first things on the job was I went to Brian White and I'm like, listen, my kids still love her and they talk about her in this program that the fans, and the and just everybody in general within Boca that knew softball loved her. And so I'm like, how can we honor her? And so we named the field Joan Joyce Field. And so it's on the scoreboard, it's out on the walls. And so it's just as a reminder that, like, hey, she's not forgotten. Instead, like, she laid the foundation for this, and it's our job that she's smiling down on us by winning and growing this game and growing this sport. And so I love talking about her. I love seeing our girls talk about her. In the beginning, it wasn't easy though, right? Like, it was not easy. And I come in with a little bit of a different style than she had. She was a little later on in her career, and, I'm young, and it's fast paced and it's high energy. And so it's going to be different for everyone, but it was hard. But I think that all hard things lead to good endings if you have the right headspace. And we tell our girls all the time, like, you don't want it easy. You don't want it easy, because then when you do win and you are successful, it makes it that much bittersweet.
Here on 102.9 The Game with FAU coach Jordan Clark. Coach, take us back to this weekend on Joan Joyce Field. Obviously, trailing 7-1 in the 6th inning on Friday night. And then you guys go for 2 in the bottom half. And then in the 7th inning, the rest was history. What was the feeling in the dugout, obviously trailing there? And then after you guys came back, was it, oh yeah, we're not losing another game this weekend?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be honest, like, I usually never leave a pitcher in to give up that many runs. Like, I tend to have a short leash because I know that we have 5 good ones. And so, usually 3 runs is the max. And I'm like, all right, let's make a switch. Offensively, we hadn't shown that we were doing much that game. And I didn't want to waste a bunch of arms because I knew that we were going to need a couple the next 2 days to beat Tulsa. And so I remember looking at my assistant halfway during the game, and I was like, I need to make a change here. I don't want to make a change here. So I just need you guys to trust me, and we're just going to ride this thing out. And if we come back, we come back. And if we don't, I'm the one that doesn't sleep tonight knowing I didn't make a change. And so then we woke up, we made some changes into the lineup. We put some subs in, and they stepped up in some big ways and gave us a spark. And so I know our team, and I know that we can come back, but I also know that there was so much pressure on the weekend. So I was nervous that, like, we were making the moment bigger than what it should have been. And so it was paralyzing us in the box to where we couldn't swing at good pitches, and we were getting runners on, and our kids who have the high averages, high RBIs, just weren't getting it done. And so at one point, I think it was 7-1 or 7-3. It was 7-1 7-1. And I was like, dang, like, we just gave this away. Like, we gave this away. Like, I'm going to be so pissed when Charlotte's holding up the trophy because we just didn't show up. And then all of a sudden it was like spark. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then once we got into that 7th inning and we had the bases loaded with no outs, I was like, we're about to freaking do this. Like, we are going to steal this from this team. And a part of me felt a little guilty because I've been on the other side of it before. And I was like, this is a sucky way to lose. But our girls are relentless. They're relentless, and they don't take no for an answer in all aspects of life. And, they kind of take on our personality of prove people wrong. And so they did that. But I was pissed. I'm going to be honest. Like, I was like, man, like, you could just feel a championship slipping out from your fingers, and you're just like, you want it so bad for them and for the program, but you ultimately can't swing the bat for them. And they proved me wrong.
They did indeed. They came back. It might have been Joan Joyce, laying a hand from above on you guys, or it might have been that crazy fan base that was out all weekend, bleacher stomping, tailgating. It's awesome. And Coach, so how was that atmosphere to you, and how much does it impact the play on the field when they're getting rowdy behind you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of answers one of the questions that somebody has, is that, when it comes to female sports, we have to continue to push, and we have to continue to fight for our girls, and we have to fight for people to be there. And somebody had heard me on a radio show on Wednesday night, and I was like, I don't care who you are, bring your church, bring your neighbors, bring your this, bring your that, stomp the bleachers. And so it was really cool because on Saturday we saw some people tailgating that we didn't recognize. And I told the girls, I was like, hey, let's go talk to them. Right. And they were like, what do we say? I'm like, just speak from the heart, whatever, like, just tell them thank you for coming. And so I was like, hey, like, what brought you guys here? And they were like, we heard your thing. And, we've never been to a softball game, and we want to come out and support. And so after the game, they were still tailgating. And I remember talking to them. I was like, well, what'd you guys think? And they're like, oh my gosh, why have we not been to more games? Like, we're a fan for life now. And so I say that because women's sports are exciting. We play with passion. We play with energy. Robbie, you're out there, like, they're loud. They're obnoxious. They do stupid dances when they get to first base. Like, Cam Jackson was doing a handstand at one point, and I'm like, I'm just looking around going, like, how can you not find this entertaining? And so it's cool because we have our OGs, the ones that sit right behind home plate, Jim and Ernie and his whole crew, and they're there every game. They were there when we were good. They were there when we were bad. They're there when it's 100 degrees. They're there when it's 60 degrees. And so I think that's the part of this job is, like, yes, winning is fun, but seeing it grow in all aspects with community, fans, the play on the field, getting you guys interested in it. Like, it's been so fun to see on Twitter and social media how much love you guys have given us. And the girls love to text me, like, did you see this person tweet about us? Did you see this picture? Did you see this video? And I don't know, like, it's just all about making these kids' day. And I say these are supposed to be the best 4 years of your life. And if it's our job to facilitate that and give them the best 4 years so that they walk away kind of encouraging people to be college athletes moving forward.
Everything, yes, Coach. Everything, yes. I felt I am guilty. I was a student myself. I didn't make enough time for softball when I was a student, but I graduated on Saturday. I graduated on Friday, actually, and I'm not going to miss another game. I'm not. I swear that being with you guys when you guys were celebrating senior day after, I was saying this to Drew and Toby before you got on. You guys were in the moment. It was awesome. Everyone's, like you said, doing cartwheels and everyone's smiling. And Coach, it's awesome to see a team enjoy the moment. Yes, obviously, focused on the future, the tournament coming right up, but that moment right there is special, and you guys capitalized on it.
Yeah, and I just think too, like, it's supposed to be fun. And I think that, like, people get so caught up with how much money am I making? How much publicity am I getting? What pictures are taken of me? And for our girls, it's how can you have fun? And how can you not make this stressful? Because it's not supposed to be stressful. And yes, like, you go 0 for 3, strike out 3 times, it's going to be stressful. You give up a home run, it's going to be stressful. But at the end of the day, like, you're never going to get to play with this group ever again. And you're creating memories that are going to last forever. And I tell them all the time, in 20 years from now, you are not going to remember what your batting average was. You are going to remember how somebody did so stupid, like Cam Jackson doing a freaking handstand and a cartwheel on the way to get her senior plaque on the mound with Brian White and Stacy, the president. And I'm like, no, she just didn't. She did a dang cartwheel to go get her framed jersey. And I'm like, yep, that's my team. And I was so proud because I've always envisioned having a team that is not afraid to be authentically themselves. And whether it's dancing, whether it's celebrating, I think in life, like, we are pushed into boxes of how we're supposed to act and what we're supposed to do and what we're supposed to say. And to show up and just be yourself, I think there's nothing more priceless than that.
That's exactly what Ainsley Lambert said in her post-game interview. I don't know if that's a mantra, but authentically the Owls is maybe the most it's my new favorite slogan for sure. I love it, Coach. I love it. Here on Bleacher Brothers Sports Network with Coach Jordan Clark. But, a key factor about this team is the consistency. You talked about that yesterday. All throughout the year, really, most wins since 47 in 2016, regular season-wise. What has been the driving factor behind this team to try to remain consistent throughout the season?
I think we're balanced. We're balanced. We're not just a pitching team, or we're not just an offensive team. We're balanced on both sides of the ball, especially, as defense as well. In all 3 respective categories, we lead the league in something, right? And so, like, Ainsley's leads it in ERA in the pitching stand front. Defense, up until this last weekend, we were, I think 2nd in the country out of 300 Division I teams in fielding percentage. Offense, we lead the conference in several statistical categories. So we're getting something from all 3 so that when the game comes, comes and it is a 0-0 ball game, we don't go into panic because we're not hitting. Instead, it's, hey, our pitchers are going to guide us right now. They're going to help us get to the fifth, get to the sixth, and keep it close. And so I do think plays a part of it. I think leadership, you have 11 seniors. That's going to play a piece of it, that out of those 11 seniors, 8 are transfers, or 9 are 8 are transfers. And, you got Cam Jackson, who played at Duke, who played for a Super Regionals last year. You got Callie Kildow from Arkansas, who played for a Supers. Megan Mall, who's played, was at Missouri, played for a Super Regionals. So they've been in big time moments, so that, last year when it was a 1-0 ball game where we were ranked first in conference at one point, it was like, oh my gosh, what do we do? This is like the unknown charted territory. Whereas this year, they just keep on swinging and they keep pitching and they just keep it consistent. And so we just haven't made moments bigger than themselves.
And you talk about throwing punches, that throwing the first punch, throwing the last punch. I love it, Coach. That's what you said after the game yesterday. And Drew, who covers football for us, he brought up a good point. Drew, do you want to jump in here and ask what you were talking about before?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the Fight Club slogan, the mantra for this year. I just wanted to ask, so, just throwing the first punch, throwing the last punch, that's important for you. It's what you preach to your team, but obviously it's not going to go like that every time. What's the message to your team when it goes off script?
Yeah, I mean, you think about a boxing match, right? And most boxing matches are ultimately 8 rounds. Women's is a little bit different, but you might get your beat for 7 rounds, and you might get to throw one punch in the 8th and you knock somebody out, even though you're bloody, your face is beat up. And so we talk about that, you might get kicked around for 7 innings, but if you have enough life in you to stand up, to believe in yourself, to get a punch off, then you might have a chance. And so, so sometimes we don't get to throw the first punch, but then that's where, comes in, and how can you be the last man standing? And so we've really just taken to that this year. We talk about how it's so much easier if you throw the first punch because you back somebody into a corner. So it's like when you won the first round in a boxing match, that you're sitting in that corner feeling good, whereas the other person's getting their face cleaned off, getting their teeth checked. And it's you have that momentum. And so for us, it's how can you be the last one standing? And so I tell them, you can do it now or you can do it later. You guys just got to decide what kind of game you want to make it. But the girls have had a ton of fun with it. They love it. And it's nice because, so fun fact, I was a school teacher for 3 years. I taught 6th through 8th grade. And I'm a big believer that if you give people something to hold on to and to grasp, that you can always go back to that theme throughout the season. I think some teams use a theme or use certain words, and then they never talk about them until things get hard. We talk about them every single day through the good, the bad, the fun. And so that way, when the game does come up, and we didn't get to throw the first punch, we can at least know that, how can we last that last round?
That's awesome. I love that.
Winded down here with the FAU coach, Jordan Clark. So you talked about being the last one standing, Coach, and another opportunity this weekend to do that. Unfortunately, last year fell a little bit short in the CUSA tournament. But you also ended the season last year on a 3-game win streak. So what did you learn from the end of last season that you can hopefully try to put towards this season and end it in a AAC title?
Yeah, last year we fought with what we had. And I say that because our girls gave it everything they had on that field. And ultimately, we just played a team that had a little bit more talent and a little bit more luck at the end. And we just didn't have the timely hit, right? And that was the thing last year that I'll never forget it. We had a runner on first, no outs to tie it up in the bottom of the 7th. And we popped the bunt up, and it was a double play, basically ball game over to end the season. And so I say that because we made that moment bigger than what it was when you bunted the ball all year long. You have moved runners all year long. But because my heart rate was so sped up, I couldn't get it done. So this year, I think we're a little bit better as we've been battle tested. We've been down by 4 runs, 5 runs, 6 runs, and we've been able to come back, and we've seen ourselves do it. Whereas last year at this time, we were just fighting for our life and trying to grasp onto something. And this year, we have just proven that we can dominate in all aspects of the game. So I think we're playing with a little bit more confidence right now than we did last year at this time. Last year at this time, we were still trying to figure out if we belong. We were trying to figure out if, we had enough talent to go blow for blow with some of the top teams. You were the number 4 seed and you're playing the number 1, 2, and 3 seeds. And so it's like, well, they're better than us. Whereas this year, you are the 1 seed. You got the target on your back, but you also have that confidence that, hey, we just did this and we won 21 regular season games. And I say that it's harder to win regular season than it is the tournament because people can kind of get on a roll in the tournament. So I just think we're going to play with a little bit more confidence right now.
Awesome to hear. Confidence is key heading into the postseason play, but you can also be a little bit confident knowing that at least in nothing's guaranteed as we've seen with the at-large situations before, but is there any comfort behind knowing that you guys are in a position to potentially get one, or is it just, what, let's win this regular season title and don't even leave anything up to chance?
I mean, it's stressful, right? Like anytime you control your own destiny, it's stressful. It would be nice for somebody to look at you and be like, hey, you're in, and then you can play with a little bit more ease. We know that that's not the case. We know we're on the bubble. It sucks that we're on the bubble because ultimately we're a mid-major, whereas our strength of schedule is, in some ways better than, say, Florida. But because it's Florida, they're Power 5 and the SEC has better RPI numbers on a daily basis than that they're playing against, they get a little bit more credit, which rightfully so. They've had an awesome year. But you're sitting there going, hey, y'all got 40 wins. We got 41 wins. So it's just the name of the game and the beast that we're in with college athletics is, some of the smaller guys gotta earn it and gotta work for it. So we do talk about it. I'm obviously a little bit more stressed because I know how important Friday night's game is. I think if we can get to Friday night's game and win in Friday night's game, I think it gives us a very, very good chance to get our name called. If we don't win Friday night's game, it's going to be tough. And we're just going to have to sit there and cross our fingers and hope that it goes our way. But we control our own destiny. We know that, we're going to do whatever it takes to win Friday night's game to give us a chance. We would love to see us, say us and Charlotte in the finals. Charlotte's most likely already in the tournament just from a numbers standpoint. So you ultimately are looking at bids across the board. And if Charlotte gets upset, do 3 teams in the American make it? I don't think so. And so ideally you kind of want that 1 and 2 seed to make it out to the end. Because then it's like, if you lose to Charlotte and they're already in the tournament, then I think the committee goes, hey, you know what? Like they competed against a team that we're letting in. So it gives us a better chance, but we'll kind of see.
It's good to hear that Friday game will matter towards the resume. And learned in basketball that it doesn't. At least their tournament in basketball.
No, they lost that game, and I was like, what?
Yep.
They got like a really good seed, and I'm like, good for y'all. I'm proud of y'all.
Yep.
But softball is so different. Like if we lose that Friday night game, the committee's basically like, well, cool, you won the regular season, but good luck next year.
Yeah, no, there you go. Coach, last one for you before we let you go back to preparing for this weekend ahead. But so obviously you guys you're focused on the here or the now, but back-to-back really successful seasons for you guys. Is there any feel that there's a potential dynasty building right here in front of you?
Oh man, I don't know. That's a tough one, Robbie. I will say this. I love our team. I love our freshmen and sophomores and juniors that we have returning next year. I think our 2024 recruiting class is really good. I think our 2025 recruiting class is really good. We've shown that we can get top-level transfers if we want them. I think this is a destination place, and I think that with a young staff, I think girls feel confident and empowered playing for us. And so I think that we're going to continue to be able to get talent in here. It's our job to continue to coach them. But dynasty, I don't know about that, but I do think that we will. I know that we should be the top 4 teams in conference every year. And, as long as we're here, that is the standard, that is the goal. And, I like to win and I like hard things. And so we're always going to figure out ways to continue to stay relevant and in the conversation. When Brian hired me, he asked what was my plan of attack for the next couple of years and, able to lay it out of like, what did I see the next 5 years look like? And the fact that we got there in year 2, I think he's like, whoa, that's pretty cool. So, we'll see. We go year to year. Who knows?
We'll let the fans call it a dynasty, Coach, but something special is indeed being built right here at Joan Joyce Field, FAU Stadium in Paradise. Make sure to catch the Lady Owls in Wichita, Kansas, Friday and Saturday next week. Coach, thank you so much for hopping on with us. We haven't been the most loyal all season, but I promise you this, you're going to get the best out of me going forward for sure.
All right, Drew, Toby, you better jump on board too.
Yep. Go Owls, Coach. We'll see you in Wichita.
Yes.
We'll take a brief break here on the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network, and we'll be right back.
Thank you. Go Owls.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, everybody. Bleacher Brothers Sports Network, 102.9 The Game. Toby Shulman, Drew Shula, Robbie Lastella, aboard with you for the final 27 minutes of our show tonight. Guys, I don't know about y'all, but that interview left me ready to. I need a softball jersey. I need a softball banner. I need everything softball. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me.
I'm going to be camping out in that little behind left field spot next year at FAU softball stadium for the entire time. It looks like such a good time there.
Oh yeah, it's an awesome stadium. My dad, being an athletic director, growing up, one of my favorite sports to watch was always going to the softball games. Those things are always high pace. It's not baseball. Baseball, the field's a little bigger. These are tight corners. The game's fast. It's very exciting. I love it. So shame on me for not showing up to many games this year, but I have learned my lesson, because that was absolutely an awesome interview. So, Coach Clark, you got a fan for life.
It's okay. Coach Clark got to yell at you guys to your face. Mine too. I made fun of myself, but we're all guilty of it. But it's over now. Going forward, there will be no lackadaisical softball coverage. I'm on it. I'm here for it. I have always been fascinated with softball because of the arm angle. I can't do that. I imagine if I tried to do a wind up of some sorts, that ball is going into the bleachers. Might hit me up in the press box up there. I don't know if I crank it hard enough. But I don't know how to get it accurate. And Ainsley Lambert, not only accurate, it's just awesome watching her pitch late innings. She needs a walk. If she's pitching 3 innings, I don't care. She needs a walk-up song, or she needs a closer song. Give me Enter Sandman, anything really, because at least in this past series against Tulsa, unhittable. And heading into postseason play, if she's unhittable again, I don't see how the Owls at least don't make it to a regional. So it's interesting though. How the at-large works in softball and how it's different in basketball. I'm wondering if, I looked it up today and I was reading all the articles, and it's just like basketball. And you see the last 4 in, and I see FAU in there, and I'm like, oh no. That is like the last possible place you want to be in any sport now, I've learned. And it's so, I hope they go out there this weekend in Kansas and pull it together, because if this team deserves more games, as many games as possible. I am mad at myself, angry, but that I didn't make it out to more this season. But it's okay, because the Owls are going to win in Wichita, Kansas, and I'm going to get to see that, and I'm going to get to see them play in a regional somewhere and upset somebody, right? Ainsley Lambert said. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I'm rooting for them, even though I shouldn't be rooting for anybody. I'm not rooting. I'm just cautiously hoping that the outcome goes in a favorable way that benefits our coverage. There we go. Right, guys?
Nice.
I'll say it. I hope FAU wins.
Yeah.
We got to make fun of ourselves just a tad. We can't be too serious, guys. We can't we can be serious, but you gotta make some jokes. Did you guys see Tom Brady making some jokes last night? Everyone making jokes at his expense. Tom Brady was getting roasted last night. Apparently, he was saying something like he told the guy making the roast that Bill Belichick Robert Kraft. He can't talk about Robert Kraft and Deflategate, or what was it? Not Deflategate, the massage parlor. Yeah. Tom Brady didn't want anyone talking about Robert Kraft and his massage parlor experiences. But other than that, Tom was getting roasted. Did you guys catch any of this?
I saw something he said about Deflategate, where he was like, if you would have given me $20 million, I would have just told you we deflated him. So I thought that was pretty funny. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I forget who it was. Somebody just went in on everybody that was there. Sorry, I don't remember who that is, but it was brutal.
I got something for you guys here. This is from Bill Belichick talking about Tom Brady.
People said that Tom and I butted heads a lot, and in a way that was true, but not really. It was hard to butt heads with Tom because he was so far up Alex Guerrero's ass.
So Alex Guerrero is his trainer, and I mean, I'm not surprised. Tom Brady's over here hitting up Ichiro Suzuki for stretching advice, and Ichiro Suzuki is like, who the heck is Tom Brady, and why does he need my stretching advice? So I just thought that I just see all this stuff today, and I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's funny. I won't lie to you, Robbie. Did not catch the Tom Brady roast last night, and that's shame on me. I'm a very big football guy.
And a very big Tom Brady hater, being a Dolphins fan, right?
I can appreciate his greatness now. But back in the day, absolutely. You know how hard it is to watch my entire life where Tom Brady was beating my team every single year and winning Super Bowls for a franchise that, let's just say, I am not very fond of. But what I will say is actually, it could be worse. I could be Toby. I could be a Jets fan.
Ooh.
You could have owned him even more. No, I'm joking, Toby.
No, it's all right. We can tell it. We can tell it how it is. It's not
being a Dolphins fan. We're exciting, but we haven't done a whole lot of postseason winning. That's for sure. But what I will say is we did hold our own against Tom Brady over the years. I think I might completely be lying, but I think I am right. I think we had the most wins against Tom Brady of any franchise over his tenure as a Patriot.
I mean, you get a lot of chances at it. You play them twice a year for 130,000 years or however long.
We always split with the Patriots. Even when we were terrible. I remember 2019, the Patriots are hosting Miami for like a top seed in the playoffs. Ryan Fitzpatrick goes in. He throws a game-winning touchdown to Mike Gesicki. We were awful, man. We were tanking for Tua that year. But
was that Miami Miracle? No, that wasn't.
That was the Kenyon Drake one, right?
That was before. But this is when Ryan Fitzpatrick was playing for Brian Flores' first year as a Dolphin. So we won our 5th game. We were 4-12 going in. We went 5-12. Won that game. We always like to play spoiler as the Dolphins when we were real bad. But yeah, we held our own against the Patriots pretty much always.
Fair enough. We're not gonna spend too much time talking about the Dolphins or the Patriots, but I was just curious your thoughts there, being a Patriots fan on old Tom now getting roasted in retirement. But we can't spend the last 20 minutes talking about Tom Brady. I think I would probably blow my brains out. But anyway, talking about the NBA, something that jumped out to me this weekend, guys. We'll get into the other series first, but are the Timberwolves really about to beat the Nuggets?
I think so. I mean, we'll see how this game goes. Well, they play tonight, right?
They do, but they stole game 1 on the road.
Yeah, I mean, that was, surprising to say the least. Anthony Edwards is playing out of his mind. I mean, he might be the best player in the league right now. Like cemented his spot as at least in the playoffs right now the best player.
Anthony Edwards is like a new age LeBron of some sorts, man.
New age Kobe, something.
He's going crazy.
New age Anthony Edwards.
I mean, it's not crazy to say he's the best player in the NBA right now, right?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Right now.
No. When you say right now, no.
Especially with the people who are in the playoffs right now, looking at the other teams, I mean, you could argue that Jokic is more impactful than him on his team, but I don't know if you put Jokic on who's the worst team in the NBA? I don't even know the Nets. Put Jokic on the Nets and put Ant on the Nets with the same surrounding core. I like Ant personally. If Jokic can do everything on his own, but he does need some other players around him for it to work. So who else? I don't know, Drew. Honestly, it's between Jalen Brunson and Anthony Edwards for me right now. They're both really, really good. I think Anthony Edwards gets a little boost over Jalen for me just because he's a little more of a threat to score the ball. But Jalen's over here putting up 40 points every other night. So I can't really say that. But it just seems like Anthony Edwards is a bit more aggressive but it's tough because Jalen Brunson is just as aggressive too. I mean, the dude attacks the rim and flips it up and in a lot. And I don't know, man. It's really, there's a lot of good basketball going on. And I think what it's pointed out to me is LeBron, Steph, Clay, whoever else, Chris Paul, that generation, our generation that we watched as kids is slowly going bye-bye. And it's slowly becoming the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, Luka Doncic era of players. And I think, you look at LeBron, Kobe, and whoever else you want to put on a Mount Rushmore of that era. This one for sure will have Luka in it. This one for sure will have. I don't want to say for sure Luka yet. I mean, he's really good in the regular season. Hasn't had that postseason success yet. But so we'll say for sure Jokic. And for sure, if with a title this season, at least a finals appearance, Anthony Edwards. I think he's pushing himself up to this generation's Mount Rushmore. Because what have the Timberwolves done before them? Oh, we lost Drew again, Toby. He made.
I'm kind of freezing. I was wondering when he was going to cut in and out, but
he was mewing a little bit, like the mew. I think the mew just absolutely
it kicked him.
It killed the stream. So we'll have to, Drew. We got like 15 minutes left. If you come back on, we'll let you come say goodbye. But we're nothing too crazy going on here on the final 15 minutes. Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. Just some NBA playoff talk here. Looking forward though, looking at these next couple series, Celtics Cavs up tomorrow night, Pacers Knicks, Thunder Mavericks, and Timberwolves Nuggets. Toby, who left in the playoffs has the most to prove?
The most to prove?
Kind of tough, you know. You look at
is it not really the Knicks? I mean, they've proven they're a great team already, but
here's why it's the Cavs. Here's why it's the Cavs for me. The Cavs, they scraped and crawled to get past the Magic. Good for them. They got to play their Cleveland Cavaliers song instead of the Orlando Magic Whoa Whoa song. So good job. But Donovan Mitchell is out the door as soon as the offseason starts to the highest bidder. Give him something to stay in Cleveland. Like, my guy is not Caitlin Clark. He's not going to enjoy Cleveland for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or whatever. He's going to need to win, and he's going to need dinero. You can give him the money. You know, they got to round 2, but Donovan Mitchell's been around 2 before in his career. He's not ancient. He's still in his 20s, but he's going to want to get to a contender sooner than later. And in a contract year, it is critical now for the Cavs to try to, because they've got something. If you're Cleveland, you've got him, you've got Garland, you've got Evan Mobley, you got Jared Allen, you've got all these pieces. But if Donovan Mitchell leaves, man, Evan Mobley and Darius Garland are not leading this team to anything but a play-in series.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, Donovan Mitchell is such a big part of that team. I feel like everyone around them has so much more to prove. And, as a whole, that just makes the Cavs the team that has the most to prove in the league, maybe in the playoffs right now. But I just feel like still so many people disrespect the Knicks. This Knicks team is a very, very good contender. Like, this team without they're without Julius Randle, who, talk about how he is in the playoffs all you want. Still is Julius Randle. That still is a huge missing piece to just the overall chemistry on the team. And I think still just the whole history of the Knicks recently, nobody's really taken them very seriously still. So, they beat the Sixers, and that's a good team, but, people will make the excuse Embiid wasn't healthy. So you could make the argument that the Knicks still have a lot to prove to maybe some other people around the league.
If it's not the Celtics coming out of the East, welcome back, Drew. We thought you died of mewing. We thought the mew just took you out, but
I don't know what happened. Was that what the face was like when I was
It looked like right when you got cut out, it looked like a little Muse situation was going on. You were trying to take us out like Squidward in that one episode of SpongeBob. So, but you know what? You're back. You're here with us for the final 15 minutes talking NBA. So we were talking about who's got most to prove. Celtics, obviously, they've got a lot to prove because they haven't been to a finals. But let's say they're the favorites. Let's get them out of the equation. If the Cavs, the Pacers, and the Knicks, if one of those out of all of those teams, who's most likely to win the East? If it's not the Celtics,
the Knicks.
The Knicks. That's my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I want to see happen.
Winding down here.
That's what I think too, but
winding down here on the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. We've got a couple minutes to go. Want to bring in? We're winding down on the night in general, and we need a sports update. Steven, if you want to give one, we will gladly hear what's going on in the wild world of sports as soon as you are ready. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we want to bring Steven in because guys, we're not going till 9 p.m. tonight. So Steven will get you ready to go. He'll tell you what's going on in the world of sports. So you can go out and place a Bleacher bet on it as soon as he's finished hitting you up with those scores. Make sure to go to bleacherbrothers.com and see all the scores there as well.
All right, let me get the stuff loaded up, okay?
Oh yeah, everybody.
I have 2 computers, so I'm loading it up on the other one.
Go for it.
But I could try to tell you guys what's going on right now. Right now, we have Knicks up 12-8 against the Pacers right now. So the Knicks are up.
The Knicks are up over the Pacers. Pacers are a little iffy to me, Steven. I don't know if they've got it in them. If Tyrese Halliburton can have a good series, then maybe. But other than that, I think the Knicks are coasting.
Yeah, and the finals in baseball, we have one final. The Phillies beat the Giants 6-1 right now. And then in Cleveland, it's a tie game 1-1 against the Tigers in the bottom of the 6th. The Angels are losing to the Pirates 4-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning in that game. Tampa Bay is up 4-2 against the White Sox, and that one's in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Kansas City and Milwaukee are at 0-0 on the bottom of the 3rd. It's bottom of the 1st inning in Minnesota. It's a scoreless game against the Mariners, 0-0. And then the Cubs and Padres are still 0-0 in the bottom of the 1st that game. The Mets and St. Louis just got underway, and it's a 0-0 game in that one. When we're off the air, we have the Texas Rangers and the Oakland A's. The series Toby suggests us to watch as Oakland is going to show off what they can do against a top-notch team. And then in the evening game, we have the Miami Marlins and the Dodgers. And then in hockey, we have the Boston Bruins and the Florida Panthers in a few minutes. And there's your guys' sports update.
Steven, while we still got you, so you're a big softball fan yourself.
Yeah.
And I jumped on the wave. I am now a huge softball fan. Steven, what is it to you? Like, how did you get involved in softball, and why are you a big fan?
So I got involved with softball in my sophomore year in high school because I wanted to help out in sports, and that was the first sport that came to mind. So I helped the coach out for 3 years, then went to junior college, helped out there. And I've been to a handful of conventions, meeting other coaches. Like she said, Courtney Deifel, I know who she is because she's my mentor as well. So I have mentorship with them. So anytime you guys need softball help, I can reach out to a coach, talk to them, and get us hooked up. Like, as you guys can see, this is what a softball is. They're big. And it's
fat.
And yeah, that too. And I have a bat somewhere in my room, but I have a lot of stuff that's softball related. Even like a jar of dirt from a field.
So Steven, did you like what Coach Clark had to say? Are you confident in the Owls?
Yeah, I'm confident. You guys, that interview was perfect. It was spot on. It sounded perfect. All the questions you guys asked were perfect. And yeah, you guys, you're learning that sport, which is good.
Yeah.
When you learn more and more, you will understand it more. It's, to me, when I first watched it, I was like, oh, this sport, not fun. But when I fast forward through high school, my sophomore year, I'm like, oh, this is more interesting than I thought. Because it's faster than baseball. Like Drew said, it's faster than baseball. It's quicker. And there is a mercy rule in college as well. It's 8 runs after 5 innings. So the game could end in 5 innings or 7. And if it's a tie game, it goes on and on until whoever wins. So it just depends. You have a 7-inning game, typical 2 innings less than baseball. You don't get a 7-inning stretch during it.
No.
Unless you want to beg for one, but...
Yeah, 5th inning stretch, though.
Yeah, it's a 5th inning stretch.
Give me that 5th inning.
You got to get to the 5th inning stretch. Just play the 7th inning stretch song during the 5th inning. There you go.
Yeah, Toby knows about that run rule in baseball. Happened a couple times this weekend, unfortunately, for FAU baseball. But Steven, thank you for give us that insight there. And it just FAU softball sprung on us all quick. But maybe over the summer we'll have some players on, and we'll get a Steven softball segment going. It just didn't work out tonight, but as you guys can hear, Steven knows his stuff about softball, and I now share the excitement of softball with him because that was just awesome. I mean, I've been a baseball fan my whole life. My dad played softball actually and he wants to play. He always tells me when he retires he's going to play senior softball. So I'm gonna go. I might have to play with my dad. I suck. At baseball, I sucked as a kid. I think I ran the wrong way around the bases or something. But you know what? I am a fan of softball, so I might have to learn how to play or something. Definitely, I won't be able to learn how to pitch though. I'm a baseman or something, man. I can't be pitching.
Well, slow pitch is a thing now, so
there's a lot
slow pitch is awesome. They have adult leagues for that. My dad also played softball. My dad played with my mom too.
Oh, really? There you go.
So that was that's a little fun fact about the softball shooter.
The Hasbro Heights Rec League, maybe.
Need some stats, Drew. Need some stats from
league. Yeah, I don't know where they played. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, no, softball's a lot of fun. Toby played a little intramural softball last year. I remember being the third base coach for that.
We were not very good, but we played.
We had IM softball.
Yeah, I should have cracked the lineup, and I will crack the lineup when softball comes back to FAU. But unfortunately, the track and field was under construction.
So it seems though like softball is easier to get into from like a pick up and play type of standpoint than baseball.
Yeah, for sure.
So
it's just people are generally more wild. Toby, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like most people are just more wild, like pitching in baseball, which just makes it so not fun if it's not like a decent
It's not even that it's not fun. It's just flat out dangerous if you're having guys pitch who just can't locate. I mean, if you've never picked up a ball and never pitched or tried to pitch before, you're not going to locate. So like it's just dangerous. Like you're just having guys throw out there as hard as they can. They're just aiming for heads.
Oh yeah, geez, and at an older age, those bruises just don't go away. Jeez.
No, Steven showed me that softball, and Tulsa's pitcher got hit by a comebacker yesterday. That it was whoa! Like I don't, you know, we don't have the speed off the bat, but man, she was all right too. She walked around the infield a little bit, and obviously I would be on the floor and screaming in agony, but she just shook it off and they're not wearing padding. Like if it hits you in like the middle, like stomach up, like it's gonna hurt. Like if they wear the mask, but that's it. And so it's just like, man, I don't know. The baseball's smaller. It'll both will arguably hurt, but that's just like a meatball, a piece of hail flying at you off the bat. So. Man, that's another aspect of softball. Is like, whoa! I was like, that girl is tough. I forgot her name, unfortunately, who was pitching for Tulsa yesterday. But shout out her because she took a mean comebacker off the chest, and she was all right.
That's why they have the mask. Especially more high schoolers. I feel like more high schoolers wear the mask. That's for sure. Just safety wise.
I agree, and that brings me up to we're really winding down here, but it brought me up on something. Speaking of safety, did you guys see in the NFL recently they have players are going to be able to wear those caps? I don't know what they call them. They're going to have like that extra padding. I'm a fan of it from a safety perspective, but they got to make it more aesthetically pleasing.
For sure.
Yeah, they're great for practice. They're
awesome. Like an uninstalled version of Madden going on. What were you going to say, Drew?
Oh, my bad. I just think they're awesome for practice. Every college, now every high school has those padding because, like, why wouldn't you? They're in a game, yeah, they're just not good to look at. They are very ugly. I'll say that.
What we got, Steven? What do we got cooking up? I want to see it. Let me see.
Let's see this. Oh, metal bat, bro?
Yeah, metal bat breaking. That's
crazy. That is crazy. I hope they can't use that anymore. Yeah.
Easton's getting a phone call, Robbie.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Maybe Mizuto.
I don't think I've ever seen.
Oh, we should do like a bat tier list, maybe.
I don't think I've ever seen a metal bat break. I'm gonna have to show my dad that one because he's never. I don't think he's ever seen that either. So
Yeah.
But hey, guys, we are winding down. Just a couple more minutes. Drew, Toby, any final thoughts about FAU softball or the NBA playoff action going on tonight? Anything cooking?
No additional thoughts, really. Just follow the Owls through the AAC tourney. That's really it.
Yeah, I'll be. I know Robbie can't say it, but I will be rooting for FAU softball and Coach Clark. Best of luck to them. They have all the pieces. They have the coaching. They clearly have the culture. They're a very, very fun group to watch. So I will be rooting for them. Absolutely. Go Lady Owls! And yeah, great show tonight.
Hoot 'em, boys. Hoot 'em. Hoot them owls. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in for tonight's special edition of the Bleacher Brothers show. We're back at it again tomorrow. I believe tomorrow from 8 to 10 p.m. If not, you'll see whenever it goes up. No worries. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you so much to Coach Clark for hopping on with us and yapping about softball. Even though with us, we didn't deserve that. We didn't deserve her expert analysis and everything. But you know what? She gave it, and I really appreciate it. I don't know about y'all. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you again to Coach Clark. Roll, Lady Owls, roll FAU softball. We'll see you guys again tomorrow night. For Bleacher Brothers, I'm Robbie Lastella.